This is Dr. GK, and today I'm not just talking to you as a doctor. I'm talking as one of you, a youngster from the same generation, from the same world of exams, expectations, Instagram, and insomnia. In this video, I want to talk about something that is shaking our youth silently: suicide and depression. And right from the beginning, I want to tell you this. I'm going to connect this topic with our Itihasa, with Arjuna, Abhimanyu, and Lord Hanuman, not as a separate segment at the end, but woven throughout. Because personally, as a youth, I feel that when we grow up knowing these stories deeply, we start seeing our struggles inside them, and that can actually help us live better, stronger lives. Let me start with something very personal. Recently, a close acquaintance of ours lost a young man in their family, just 22 years old, full life ahead of him. One day he decided he couldn't take it anymore, and he ended up his life by jumping off a building. When I heard that, one thought hit me so hard. How did life become more painful than death for a 22-year-old? What has gone so wrong in our society that falling from a building feels easier than facing another day? And this is not an isolated story. Another relative told me about their son. Intelligent, capable, well qualified, a proud degree holder. He had achieved so much already, but he had one big dream: cracking the civil service exam. He gave it everything, and when it didn't happen, the entire world collapsed. He slipped into a severe depression, and as they described his thoughts, I could literally hear Beck's triad in real life, that classic model of depression. I am helpless, I am hopeless, I am worthless. When a bright young mind starts believing these three lies at the same time, the danger becomes very real. But you know what? This is not the first time in our history that a warrior's mind has collapsed before the battle. Think of Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Physically, he is the greatest archer, trained, talented, powerful. But when he looks at the scale of the war, the expectations, the fear of consequences, suddenly his hands tremble, his bow slips, his legs become weak. He tells Krishna, I cannot fight, my mind is confused, my heart is burning. If this happened today, we would say Arjuna is having a panic attack. He is overwhelmed, he is mentally breaking down. So if Arjuna can bend under pressure, what about us, sitting inside classrooms, offices, and hostels, carrying silent wars in our hearts? Now think of Abhimanyu, a young, brave warrior. He knows how to enter the Chakravyuha, the complex military formation. He goes inside with courage and confidence, but he doesn't know how to come out. Isn't that our youth today? We know how to enter school, coaching, college, exams, competition, job race, social media race, but no one teaches us how to come out of stress, heartbreak, failure, and loneliness. Abhimanyu did not die because he was weak. He died because he was surrounded, outnumbered, and unsupported. In the same way, many young people today are not dying because they are weak. They are dying because they are alone inside their mind. Let's talk a bit about what is actually happening in the brain. Depression is not a drama. It is not attention seeking. It is not a character flaw. It is a real medical condition where chemicals in the brain go out of balance. Serotonin, dopamine, noradrenaline, these are involved in mood, motivation, energy. When they drop, the stress hormones like cortisol stay high for long. The brain literally gets stuck in mode of survival instead of growth. That's why a depressed person often says, I want to get up, but I just can't. I want to study, but I can't focus. I want to enjoy, but nothing feels good. From outside, people say, lazy fellow, wasting his time. From inside, the person feels like Arjuna, hands shaking, mind blank, and heavy heart. Sometimes, depression doesn't look like crying. It looks like a suddenly silent friend, the topper who stops caring about marks, a funny guy who becomes sarcastic and angry all the time, the girl who used to love dance and now doesn't want to leave her bed. It looks like the late night scrolling until 3 a.m. because they don't want to be alone with their thoughts. It looks like joking about death. If I disappear, no one will care. And everyone laughs, but there is pain behind that line. And yes, it can come from one single trigger: a failed exam, a breakup, financial pressure, a family problem, or from a long chain of daily hurts that slowly break the mind. And now I want to talk about what science says about healing, but in a simple way. We have very effective treatments today. Therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, where a trained psychologist or psychiatrist helps you identify these negative thoughts like I am useless, My future is finished. Nothing will ever change. And slowly challenge them with facts, reality, and new way of thinking. It's not just positive thinking. It's structured scientific training for your mind. Just like a physiotherapist helps a weak muscle grow stronger again, CBT helps weak thinking patterns become healthy again. Sometimes medications, antidepressants are also needed. Not for everyone, not forever, but in many cases they act like a support system for the brain chemicals so that therapy, lifestyle changes, and support can actually work. But this decision should never be made by Google or Instagram or a random video. It should be made by a qualified psychiatrist after a proper evaluation. A single YouTube video, even mine, cannot diagnose you, cannot prescribe you, cannot replace a doctor. What it can do is this: help you recognize what's happening, help you feel less alone, and push you to reach the right help. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna did not tell Arjuna, "You're fine, don't overthink." He didn't say, "Think positive, everything will be okay." He sat with him in his breakdown, acknowledged his confusion, and then slowly gave him clarity, purpose, and direction. That's what good therapy and good support does today. And in Ramayana, think of Lord Hanuman. There is a moment where he forgets his own strength. He literally believes, "I cannot cross this ocean." Only when Jambavan reminds him, "You are powerful, you are capable, you have done great things before," Lord Hanuman rises. Depression is often like forgetting your own Lord Hanuman inside you. You're not suddenly weak, you've forgotten your strength. You're not suddenly worthless. Your mind has put a black filter over your entire life. To every youngster watching this, I want to say this directly eye to eye. Your marks are not your value. Your one exam result is not your destiny. Your relationship status is not your identity. Your mental health struggle does not make you broken, it makes you human. If you feel like you are collapsing inside, like Arjuna, if you feel trapped in expectations, like Abhimanyu, if you feel you have forgotten your own power, like Lord Hanuman, please don't suffer silently. Talk to one person you trust, a parent, a sibling, a friend, a teacher, a counselor. If they don't understand, talk to the next person and the next. And if you feel your thoughts are going into dangerous territory, I don't want to live, everyone will be better without me, that is the time to immediately reach out for a mental health professional or emergency helpline. There is nothing shameful in that. That is courage. You don't need a big reason to ask for help. Pain itself is a reason enough. And to any parent or teacher watching this, if your child or student is withdrawing, changing, losing interest, behaving differently, please don't dismiss it as today's generation drama. Listen with your heart, ask gently, support professionally. Our Itihasas do not glorify running away from life, they glorify standing up again. Arjuna did not quit the battlefield, he rose with wisdom. Abhimanyu's story teaches us that systems must protect the young, not trap them. Hanuman shows us that even when we forget our strength, it is still there, waiting to be awakened. If you are alive and listening to this, your story is not over. Your script is still being written. No exam, no failure, no breakup, no mistake deserves your last breath. Choose to stay, choose to speak, choose to seek help. Because this world and people who love you need your story, not your silence. At this point, I would like to quote some motivational lines of the great Telugu poet Sri Sri Garu. కుదిరితే పరిగెత్తు, లేకపోతే నడువు, అది చేత కాకపోతే పాకుతూ పో, అంతేకాని ఒకే చోట అలా కదలకుండా ఉండిపోకు. ఉద్యోగం పోయిందని, వ్యాపారం దెబ్బతినిందని, స్నేహితుడొకడు మోసం చేశాడని ప్రేమించిన వాళ్ళు వదిలి వెళ్ళిపోయారని అలాగే ఉండిపోతే ఎలా? దేహానికి తప్ప దాహానికి పనికిరాని ఆ సముద్రపు కెరటాలే ఎగిసి ఎగిసి పడుతూ ఉంటే, తలుచుకుంటే నీ తలరాత ఇంతే అన్న వాళ్ళు కూడా నీ ముందు తల దించుకునేలా చేయగల సత్తా నీది. అలాంటిది ఇప్పుడొచ్చిన ఆకాస్త కష్టానికే తలంచేస్తే ఎలా? సృష్టిలో చలనమున్నది ఏదీ ఆగిపోకూడదు. పారే నది, వీచే గాలి, ఊగే చెట్టు, ఉదయించే సూర్యుడు, అనుకున్నది సాధించాలనే నీలో కసి కసిగా ప్రవహిస్తున్న ఆ రక్తంతో సహా ఏది ఆగిపోవడానికి వీల్లేదు. లే, బయలుదేరు. నిన్ను కదలనివ్వకుండా చేసిన ఆ మానసిక బాధల సంకెళ్లను తెంచుకో. పడ్డ చోటు నుండే పరుగు మొదలుపెట్టు. నువ్వు పడుకునే పరుపు నిన్ను చిదరించుకోక ముందే నీ బద్ధకాన్ని వదిలేయ్. నీ అద్దం నిన్ను ప్రశ్నించక ముందే సమాధానం వెతుక్కో. నీ నీడ నిన్ను వదిలేయక ముందే వెలుతురులోకి వచ్చేయ్. మళ్ళీ చెప్తున్నా, కన్నీళ్లు కారుస్తే కాదు, చెమట చుక్క చిందిస్తేనే చరిత్ర రాయగలవని తెలుసుకో. వింటే ఇవి పదాలు మాత్రమే, ఆచరిస్తే అస్త్రాలు. నమస్కారం. This is Dr. GK, where medicine meets morals and facts meet faith. If this video touched you, don't just like and scroll. Share it. Send it to that one friend who's gone unusually quiet. You never know, this could be the voice that pulls someone back from the edge.